There we are, and welcome everyone to Making Sales Social Live, brought to you by Social Sales Link. I'm Bob Woods, the LinkedIn Sherpa, and I'm joined by fellow LinkedIn and social selling professional who is also known throughout the universe as the LinkedIn Whisperer, Bryn Tillman.
The whole universe?
Everywhere you can think of and
Oh
place.
my gosh, how cool is that? Yeah, hi Bob. How are you this fabulous day?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Excellent, especially since I'm all over the universe.
You are. You're everywhere. You're everywhere.
I'm
So
excited
speaking
about
of,
this topic. I am.
yeah,
I
no,
I, I
this
know
is great.
yeah, I know you handle most of our LinkedIn makeovers and you're working this section that we're about to talk about all the time. So I'm really excited to discuss it.
Yeah, it's so important. So your about section, sometimes called it used to be called the summary. Now it's about. We just kind of call it your about summary section, but it's called about. Is one of the first sections your audience of prospects sees when they land on your profile. Its specific job as we as sales and social sellers, its job for us is to attract and engage viewers so they'll be excited to schedule a call and have a conversation with you. And it's also and I think you'd agree with this, Brandon. It's one of our first opportunities to really talk to people, talk in
To bring
quotes,
value. Yeah.
to bring value to them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it depends. If you're in creator mode, your
Yep.
featured section is above and your activities are above. But if you're in traditional mode, this is one of the very first sections that folks will get to. And one of the mistakes we see all the time is that people position their about section to be about them. And I get it, right? Like this was initially a resume. That's what profiles were originally designed to do. But if you're looking to use your profile or LinkedIn generally in a social selling perspective, we need to rethink the way that we do this. So, why don't we get started with? There's sort of a little bit of a formula that we use.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
it's definitely, yeah, as I would call it a formula, although in implementation, it because everybody's different, there are so many different things that you can look at 3 or 4 or 5 in a row that we've done. They're all gonna read incredibly different, yet they all follow this format. But before you change anything though, you need to download your current profile as
yeah.
a PDF so you can save what you already have there. So to do this, on your profile, you'll click More, which is next to the Add Profile section button below your
Mhm.
headline, and then select Save to PDF, and it will download almost immediately. It takes like maybe 5 seconds to do, if that.
So,
So
can I say two things on this real quick? So,
absolutely,
the first one, big advice: do not print it. LinkedIn does this
yeah,
stupid thing with a big black
yeah,
left hand column.
yeah,
Learn from me. I went through all my black ink with one print. This
yeah,
is really about you having this because LinkedIn does not have undo. Once you save, whatever you had is gone. So it's Murphy's Law. If you don't PDF it, you'll need it. If you do PDF it, you won't. But I PDF almost every single time before I make any change, and I have BT profile and the date, and I probably have 150 of them. But it's kind of neat anyway to go back 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and go, "Gosh, I had that on my profile." So, but yeah, follow Bob's instructions and PDF away.
yep. The evolution of your profile, I think, is always interesting to see
Mhm.
as it goes and everything else, and especially as thoughts change about what things are all about on LinkedIn. So from here on out, it's all about the content in the about section because
Mhm.
that is what you are focused on. So the
Mhm.
first thing is you need to open up by writing about your audience of prospects challenge or challenges first. So again, like Bryn said at the beginning, this isn't about you. This is about them. You are looking to draw them in because you want to create curiosity with your audience and
Mhm.
begin to kind of get them thinking a little bit differently about their situation
Mhm.
and hopefully thinking just in this little part that hey, maybe this is the person who can help me with my problem.
So I love that. And I think the concept there, which we talk about all the time, is instead of leading with your solution, we're leading to your solution. So when we talk about the challenge first, we're resonating with them. They're saying, oh my gosh, he gets me, she gets me, right? And they go, I fit this. So take a look, go high level on the challenge, the kind of that common denominator challenge that your prospects face that you solve. Now, don't talk about your solution yet. I'm going to push it to Bob for the next, I guess, element in the formula. But just remember, if you lead with your solution, you are saying, we help companies do this. I do this. We will get there, but we
Yes.
have to earn the right for them to care about us helping them. So, Bob, what is section number 2 in the about section?
And they will start caring about what you do when you teach them something new. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh
Oh,
my.
that's a big mic drop moment.
Oh
We gotta
my. And I was just thinking about the fact that it rhymed, to be honest with you. But so teach them
thank
something
goodness
new.
this is recorded.
Yeah, I know. It's another t-shirt I'm gonna be cranking out on my Etsy
There you
store or wherever.
go.
But yeah, and seriously, teach them something new. Teach them something about what you do and what you can do for them that because they're there, they may know about it, they probably don't know about it. So use this opportunity to genuinely teach them something new to immediately start adding value because when Bryn talked about we need to gain that right, we do that through adding value, and then we can start talking about ourselves. But we're still at teaching them something new, Bryn.
Yeah, and this is often there are 5 things persona needs to do in order to X whatever, right? So in order to ensure I've been working with our cybersecurity clients, so that's in my head, right? So there are 5 areas CTOs, chief technology officers, need to focus on in order to ensure they don't have a breach with a new virus. Okay, now I know that sounds like but right, if I'm a CTO and I'm like, oh, there are new viruses out there all the time, I'm interested in learning. The key here, and Bob, you said this, and I'm just going to kind of rephrase it. The key here is that we are not saying we help chief technology officers do this. We do this with people. We have to reframe that and teach them. Otherwise, it feels like a bait and switch. It feels like a pitch. So that reframing it, so instead of saying, we have a monitoring system for all new viruses, switch that and say CTOs need to make sure they have access to the latest technology to identify when new viruses come out. Okay, so I want you to think in terms of I'm teaching you this is what you need. If they go, oh my gosh, I need that, I don't have that, it's leading to your solution. So I think that's really, really important. Did we get a question in here? Oh, it's just a quick hello, but we'll say hello. Oh,
We'll say
hello,
hello back. We'll
Harry.
say sup.
Thank you. He says, quick hello from Harry to you, two brilliant folks. I love being called brilliant. It's the only place in the world I get it. No, thank you
I
for
hear you.
helping us to better LinkedIn and social. That's awesome. Thanks,
I hear you.
Harry. All right. So what do you want to close that out or go to number 3?
Let's just go to number 3 because I think that we nailed that one pretty well. So once
Nailed it.
you nailed it. So the next one is now that you've kind of built that trust because you're teaching them something new, now is the time when you can start to talk a little bit about yourself and especially linking their challenge with your solution and then just talking a little bit about how you can help them with your solution back to their challenge. So it all does need to flow. It can't be choppy. Whatever challenge you've identified in that very top section to your audience of prospects, which by the way, the one thing that I forgot to mention is that when you're in that paragraph, you should also try to address exactly who you are talking to as well. So Bryn said
Yeah.
CTOs. So, say CTOs if that's who you're going after,
Mhm.
CEOs if you're going after, business owners. Really do include that in that top paragraph so that they know that you're talking to them. But now we're back after the teach them something new part. Everything that you have done leads to this point. Link the challenge with your solution and demonstrate and tell how you can help them with that, with your product or solution or your consulting or whatever it is that you do.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go back to our lead to the solution. The education leads to the solution.
Yes.
We have them thinking differently about the way that they're currently doing things, and maybe even a little concerned that there's a gap or that there's an opportunity being missed. And that's where we can talk about how, at that point, we've earned the right. We can talk about how we can help them keep it short. Keep it real. Do
Right.
not make this the
Yeah.
primary message. This is
Right.
the bridge,
Right.
right? This is the bridge. Awesome.
And we are bridging to the call to action.
Oh, so important.
So important. So we actually have verbiage that we like to use as often as we can, obviously adapted to whomever we're doing a profile makeover for. But essentially it sounds something like this. So in your profile, so if you've resonated with this and you are looking to explore new ways to do X, whatever it is you've been talking about this entire time, let's chat. Whether or not we decide to work together, I'm confident that our talk can bring some insights and value to you. Words
Love
along
that.
those lines. Yeah. So actually, if you want to see that paragraph and actually the entire about section in action, both Bryn's and my profiles on LinkedIn are exactly in this format. So please visit them and,
Mhm.
obviously give us a follow and ring our bells while you're there too. But this is where I mean, we really have it dialed into where the rubber meets the road in terms of
Mhm.
putting this into action. So that's your call to action. You are reaching out to these people so that you can say, "Hey, I'm available. Use me as a resource."
Yeah, and let's talk about that because you just brought up something interesting, right? We're reaching out. Maybe we're asking them to connect. Maybe we've engaged on their content.
Yep.
They're gonna check us out and they're gonna do their due diligence. They will actually opt into this if you've brought enough value. And there's lots of
Mhm.
other areas on your profile where you can bring value, but this is really, if they are going to go read and their concept is I'm going to read about this person, right? That's what they expect. And by the way, that can all go in your experience. That'll
Yes.
be another podcast for another day.
Maybe
But
next week.
maybe next week. Let's do that.
All right.
um, right.
Put a pen in ink.
Yeah. So, this is their vetting of you. And I find this so interesting on so many levels because they're going to get here and it's a very different experience than they have with other people that are out pitching them.
Okay.
So you're going to really stand out for sure. So, hi, Jack Hubbard.
Jack.
So, in writing your about section, what value does ChatGPT bring to the table? That is a wonderful question. We actually have our little formula that we're talking about in a ChatGPT prompt. So I think that's
Yep.
great, and ChatGPT could do a pretty good job, but it still doesn't always sound like you. So
Right.
we're incorporating your voice in doing these makeovers, right? And so you can use ChatGPT, but you've really got to edit it so it sounds like you, it's your conversation. And I mean, we're all about, I'm trying to use the hashtag keep AI authentic. Hasn't kicked in yet, but this is such a good question, right? So we can even use that to get started. But at the end of the day, someone can actually copy your about, stick it in another program, and it'll say 97% ChatGPT, and it kind of loses a little bit of credibility in there. So I
Yeah.
would say, yes, you can do it. But if you really want your voice and connect, make sure you're highly editing it.
Yep. So just really quick, and I've talked about this before, and I think even on this podcast. How do you put it in your voice? Really simple. With the Chat GPT output, read it out loud. When you're reading it out loud, if it doesn't sound like you, guess what you got to do? You got to rewrite it. Then rewrite it, and then read it out loud again. This time it's probably going to sound more like you, but if like there's any inconsistencies or anything like that, you'll pick up on it at that point.
Love it.
Chat GPT in this case can really get you beyond that, what I call blank sheet of paper um, syndrome, or whatever you want to say, because nobody knows what they're doing when they first start out. Chat GPT can take you so far, but it can only take you so far. You really need to make sure
Yeah.
that it's in your voice.
Great. What if it sounds better than me? So, so can I have to do this. You
Yeah.
opened yourself up, Scav. What if it sounds better than I is actually the grammatically what, because it's what if it sounds better than I do? So
I
it
do. Yeah.
might, even from a grammar perspective. However, I'm sorry, I'm the daughter of an English teacher.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so actually in that case, you put it through Chat GPT, and then you put it through Grammarly if you really wanna, like, take it to the next level.
yeah, so he I think to Jack's question, it is a great starting point. I will say on your experience, great, you can take the URL to your website and ask ChatGPT to write your experience. We'll talk about that next week. You can definitely do with the about. I have the formula
Mhm.
that we've put together for that, the prompt. So if anyone wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I will get them that prompt to do that. But again, so you better not follow me around, Bryn. Well, so I don't even know who you are. I know you're Harry, but on the screen it says LinkedIn user. So
LinkedIn user on our end. So if you could
yeah,
put your name in there so that we could see who you actually are, which doesn't make sense if you're watching this on LinkedIn because you can see your name, but in our interface that we use, we only see LinkedIn user. So if
yeah.
you could do that, that'd be great. So as we go on, we actually have a bonus tip too, and this is something that's brand new that LinkedIn is giving us that I think is excellent. So you can now, and this is on a slow rollout, so you may not have this yet. So you can do your skills that are normally like way down at the bottom of the profile. LinkedIn is now giving you the opportunity to put 5 of those skills in your about section, which I think is huge. One little caveat though, I would say, make sure that again, these are the skills that people who are coming to your profile are going to want to know about you. So in other words, you may have Microsoft Excel as a skill down below somewhere or whatever. I would suggest not putting that in there
If you're in
unless
sales,
you are selling. Yeah, yeah. If you're in sales, I mean, unless you are selling Microsoft Excel services, don't put Microsoft Excel. I mean,
right, right.
yeah, exactly. So, for us, it's like social selling and LinkedIn training and like those types of things. So make sure it's those types of skills that you're listing in that section.
Yeah, and it really highlights it. It's got little stars and it's like
Yeah.
top skills. And I think it really does make an impact. So I like this new addition to the
I do
LinkedIn
too.
profile.
This one's really good. Sometimes LinkedIn, using the old baseball analogy, you know, uh, y- you know, um, hits first base, hits second base, third base. This one's a home run. I really, really like this
I
one.
agree. I agree. And Skeff asked, does experience tenure count as a skill? So I will tell you, people may hire you because of your experience, but they don't take your call. And LinkedIn, when we're really using LinkedIn, it's about getting the first conversation. After that, it's your normal process. So typically, experience and tenure is not the skill that people are going to say, oh, I got to talk to him. I got to talk to her because she has experience. But it's important to have that experience in a lot of positions, and especially yours, Skeff, to make sure that you are, you're really creating the new conversation, not making the sale. That's probably the best way to say that. And so Skeff is a partner of financial services.
Yep.
We both worked with him.
Yeah. I know. I like it when that happens. When our peeps show up to the show, it's always great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, we got some more stuff happening here. Harry Spade. Oh, thank you, Jeff Young. It's a setting. Okay, yeah. Look at you. Look at these folks that are helping out our folks. Everyone follow Jeff Young on LinkedIn.
I love it. Yep. Yeah, Jeff Young. If you get to that last one, the Killer Bees. Hello, Bob and Bryn. Great conversation. You two are the Killer Bees. I do too. That's another t-shirt. Damn. We have so many t-shirts that we need to put out now. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I love that. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate that. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up a really, really good one. I knew this was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be this good. This one worked out really, really well. And especially about such an important section in the profile too.
Yay.
So thanks again for joining us on Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter right now, we do this every week and we will do it until the end of time. So keep an eye out for our live sessions. If you're listening to us on our podcast and you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Go ahead and hit that subscribe or follow button to access all of our previous shows and be alerted when new ones drop. More info on our podcast is available at socialsaleslink.com/podcast. We do 2 shows weekly, this one and our Making Sales Social interview series, where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and so many more areas. So when you are out and about this week, be sure to make your sales
social.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you, everyone.